We talk about everything here on the early line because we got to get you prepared. We know the NFL season is still months away, but my goodness, before you know it, you'll be in training camp and ready to go for the opening day kickoff when the Philadelphia Eagles receive their rings, show the trophy, and then set off to maybe going back-to-back in the NFL season to be Super Bowl champions here. It's Joe Raineri, it's Donnie Rightside, and we welcome in Joe Lisi, who, correct me if I'm wrong, first time on the network since the Super Bowl. Joe, love to have you back here. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, this is it, Donnie. You got me up for the early line. Nothing better. We got Final Four on the horizon, Elite Eight action tonight, and obviously all the news surrounding the NFL, including your guy, Russell Wilson, doesn't really get better than this, does it?
No, it doesn't. Like, I have one guy on here named Joe who works around the clock for the network. That's Joe Raineri. And then Joe Lisi, who I don't even think he works more than 2 to 3 times a week. So I got both my best friends here on the network to try to get after it here. Now, when we talk, Joe, when we talk about quarterbacks getting after it who maybe shouldn't be working in certain spots here, I cannot believe Russell Wilson ended up signing with the New York Giants. My head almost exploded, but I don't want to take up any time because I have railed this week repeatedly on this. I need your take. Russell Wilson to the Giants for who, for what?
No, it's a joke. And I said that to Ben on the radio side, that the New York Giants clearly don't have a plan. And the plan is to definitely try and win now to save both of their jobs, you know, Brian Dable and Joe Shane, because that's the only option that they have. If they were to draft a young quarterback coming out of this draft, let's say Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, they would have to live with the growing pains. Now they made their bed. They have to live with it. And they did this, Donnie, in year number 1 when they paid Daniel Jones the $40 million extension. From that point on, it's just been a slow regression. And that's why you're seeing them try and scrape things together, throw it together, put a Band-Aid on it, and hope to be an 8 or 9 win football team. Now, I did see that the win total was very low with Russell Wilson, 3.5. It's up to 4.5, 5. I think they can be a 6-win football team. But other than that, there is no clear plan in New York with this organization. They were better off ripping it down, starting anew, getting a young quarterback that could be the face of the franchise. Having Russell Wilson in your organization does you absolutely nothing. And I'll just say this, you know, the Giants are similar and the Steelers are similar to what the New York Giants are doing because they have absolutely no plan heading into this draft. If they draft Jalen Milroe and expect to make the playoffs, they are out of their minds in Pittsburgh.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Over under amount of games before Tommy DeVito is the starter again for the Giants. Just curious, Joe. Throw it out. Give me a number. What, by week 8, week 9? When does it blow up? Week 10?
Week 10. Yeah, because then you know you have to draw the fans in to some capacity, right? And if Russell Wilson performs the way he did at the end of the regular season for the Steelers, where he only averaged 175 passing yards per game, he's going to be out and DeVito will be in. Jameis Winston might be in there for a couple of games as well, but after he throws 10 picks in 2 games, they'll move on and start DeVito.
By week 10, Joe Lisi and also some of the Giants quarterbacks here, which includes Tommy DeVito, breaking bread at Rayo's here, saying, you know what, this is the start of a great relationship here. You can meet with his agent again, have some fun. You know, you can do that. Yeah,
why not? I would be open to that. Why not?
How about this? The Giants, like, I'm laughing at I loved it. The 3.5 that came out on another, you know, outlet there, now sitting at 5.5 at most. We stole that number. The Giants are going to win 6 games next year. I do believe that. But if you look at the other team in New York, who would actually thought this just a few short years ago? The Jets would be a better run franchise than the New York Giants, and I firmly believe that. Now, Joe, I know you're a big Justin Fields guy. I don't necessarily love Justin Fields, but you know what? I love the move for Fields to go to the Jets. A free look at a young quarterback on a decent contract that if you find that he's your franchise guy, you don't have to go to the draft. But if it doesn't work out, then you go back to the draft because you completely gut that franchise and start from the bottom with a new head coach and a new general manager. I like the upside on the Jets. Talk to me about Justin Fields to the Jets in your mind, what it means for them this season.
I think it's a great addition, Donnie. We talk about a young quarterback. He's a locker room guy. He's not like Aaron Rodgers, going to take the media hype and fanfare away from the team. It'll be about the team wholeheartedly. And Aaron Glenn in year number 1 has the ability to cultivate that young talent into potentially a 9-win football team. Are they going to win the AFC East? Probably, most likely not. But you look at their prices right now to win a Super Bowl, 190 to 1. Are you kidding me? Justin Fields has won games in the NFL. He was 4-2 as a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The offensive line breaks down. He can make plays with his legs in terms of the RPO game. And he's paired with Garrett Wilson, his former teammate at Ohio State. They have young talent there. Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Garrett Wilson. The sky could be the limit for this offense, and I'm saying overachieving expectations. I expect the win total to be, 6.5? If that's 7, they could get to 9 or 10 wins and be a 10-7 football team and make the wild card. That'll be great for Aaron Glenn in year number 1. I'm completely bought in to Justin Fields as the starter for that organization.
Joe, are there any quarterbacks that you would, in the top of this draft coming up, that are worth taking a shot on, or are they all? Are we going to see a draft filled with a whole lot of defensemen, offensive linemen, guys nobody's heard of? It doesn't feel like this is a great quarterback draft, nor should the teams at the top be reaching for one.
No, I agree, Joe. I think there's only 2. I think it's Cam Ward, and I do feel that Shedeur Sanders is a top 10 talent. I say that because he put up dynamic numbers with one of the worst offensive lines in 2 years in terms of college football. Sacked 50-plus times last year, still put up dynamic numbers, led his team to a 9 and 10 win football season and win season. That's a dynamic effort for that team and where they were just a couple of years ago with Carl Durrell. So I agree. I think there's only 2. I think if you're reaching on Jackson Dart or reaching on Tyler Shough, they might be in the first round, but I don't think they're first round grades. Tyler Shough couldn't get it done in 3 teams. Texas Tech, he put up numbers with Louisville, but couldn't win a big game at Oregon. And now the NFL scouts think that he's the second coming of Jim Druckenmiller. How did that pan out? It's unbelievable. I think there's only 2 guys.
Druckenmiller, unbelievable squat numbers, man. Popping eyeballs out before the draft. That guy does it all. Maybe a little Gino. How about Gio Carmazzi? I mean, is that guy available for some extra reps here in the draft? To see if that's
Go with the Italian guy. That's it. Not the Italian guy.
A couple of those guys, the Flying Dutchman out there out on Long Island. But let me take a look at this for you. Yesterday, we get news, and this involves the draft as well, that the Steelers go, you know what, Joe? I think we might want to draft Jalen Milroe in the first round here. Because why? Aaron Rodgers is on the market. It's clear. Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to tell you this right now. He doesn't want to actually go there. But you could overpay him. Like, you know what? I might as well go because you're paying me so much money. Joe, talk to me about Aaron Rodgers. There's no real places to go that he can win at. Maybe in Pittsburgh he can do that and gets lightning in a bottle and get to the playoffs. Why does he not want Pittsburgh? And what is he waiting for then?
Donnie, I have no idea. I don't know if he needs more vacation time, but you're telling me that last weekend Aaron Rodgers was in the Pittsburgh Steelers facility and he didn't walk out with a contract. That's on Mike Tomlin and that's on the Steelers. I would have put the contract on the table, said, here's the number, you want it, you sign, you walk out that door, don't let the door hit you in the ass. Be honest. I mean, what is the Steelers allowing Aaron Rodgers to hold them hostage at this point? They have no clear plan, and Mason Rudolph is the only guy on that roster. And oh, by the way, he led them to a playoff win, not a win, a game against Buffalo a couple of years ago. They have no clear plan since they drafted Kenny Pickett on how to get out of quarterback purgatory. They just can't do it. Aaron Rodgers is the best option right now, but if he says no or it doesn't work out, they have to go with a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. But he's such a project at this point. They're not going to win immediate games. And oh, by the way, they had Justin Fields there and allowed him to walk out the door. Why not work with Justin Fields if that was what you wanted?
Aaron Rodgers in vacation time. Nobody gets more other than Ben Stevens and Kevin Walsh here at the SportsGrid Network. We're up next for Draft Talk. It's draft season, people. Get ready. Teams are going to try to draft their quarterbacks, their tight ends, their offensive linemen to get ready to go. But understand this, too. The smoke screens come out at this time like you've never seen before. Like, you're talking about an LSU lineman out here that is a left tackle and absolutely dominant heading into the draft, puts out unbelievable game film, Joe Lisi, and they tell him, hey, man, I just measured your arms. We don't think you can play in the NFL anymore at this point. So get ready for this stuff. Xavier Restrepo, one of the better wide receivers in college football, Homie runs a 4.8 out there. Now all of a sudden, he didn't even know he's CFL style, maybe back to high school at this point. So, you know what I mean? The rumors are out there where these kids are trying to improve their draft style, saying, I dominate on the football field. Now you don't like me in shorts and a T-shirt. Make it make sense. It doesn't. But having said that, you look at the keys to the number one overall draft pick here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's Cam Ward. And sometimes we miss opportunities because it's usually like, you know what? Let me take a 500 to 1, a 600 to 1, like an extreme long shot on something and sit it out there. Well, Cam Ward just a few weeks ago, Joe, plus 140s, minus 140s, minus 180s, up to minus 300s, going like, you know, Cam Ward's going to be the number one overall pick in this draft. He now sits at a 12 to 1 price. Even if I told you today, you could lay $1,200 to win 100 back. Most people say no. But if I told you that was a lock, that in a month you get $100 back, people still won't take that. So for number one overall, what's it going to take for Cam Ward to not be the number one overall pick? Is it even possible at this point?
No, I think if you're Tennessee and you swung and missed on both Malik Willis and Will Levis last year, a couple of years ago, you have to take Cam Ward. You have to do right by the organization and take the best quarterback in this draft class, which is Cam Ward. The mobility, which we saw Jaden Daniels take games over with his legs, as Cam Ward is dynamic as Jaden Daniels. Not so much, but he still has that ability in terms of his game. If they were to pass up on that, trade out, get more value, get, better depth and hang and just, get a coverage of areas in terms of positions, that would be the wrong approach for the Tennessee Titans. They have to make right by this. They have the number one slot. Cam Ward is the guy. They should be solidified in that. It should be minus 2,500 at this point, Donnie, because he's clearly the best quarterback in this class. The ability to extend the pocket, the ability to locate wide receivers, always keep his eyes down the field. We talked about the RPO game a little bit better than Shedeur Sanders, who's the pocket passer in terms of this draft class. Cam Ward has to be the guy for the Tennessee Titans. And if you swing and miss, at least you took a shot with the number one overall selection as opposed to picking a quarterback in the third and fourth rounds and second round like they did with Malik Willis and Will Levis.
It's going to be fascinating, Joe, because you love this time of year because there's believe half of what you hear and pretty much nothing of what you see. When teams are telling me how excited they are about a guy, I usually tend to look the other way. But play it out with me here. It doesn't feel like there is anybody franchise changing that teams are going to have to move up the draft and give away the farm to go get. Cam Ward stays with Tennessee, right? Then you've got Abdul Carter going to Cleveland, which is what most people seem to think because you need an edge rusher. If I'm the Giants at 3 and Shedeur Sanders is there, I'm not taking him, or are the Giants looking for somebody else to come up and grab him? What happens here?
Well, I would be, if you're the Giants and now you've made your bet and you've already got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston there, you can't then take Shedeur Sanders. When's he going to play? Well, with both of those guys ahead of him, and then all of a sudden now you're going to start Shedeur Sanders. That would be the worst move for the organization. The best move, if they're not going to move out, would be Travis Hunter. And I say that because you have a dual threat player, potentially the most athletic in this draft class, a game changer at the cornerback position, knowing that you have to go up with the likes of Washington and obviously the Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles. You need a lockdown corner to shut down both A.J. Brown and those elite wide receivers, and including C.D. Lamb for Dallas. So, again, if you could get him to play both ways as well, maybe not, 50 or 60 offensive plays, but get him in a limited package where he could play 10 to 15 plays on the offensive side and pair him with Malik Neighbors. Now you will at least give Russell Wilson weapons to potentially challenge some of those teams within the division. If I was the Giants and you're not going to get a taker for number 3, I would take Travis Hunter at this point.
Yeah, there's no, the Giants did so many wacky things here at this point where it's like, yes, at number 3, it's like, wow, we didn't expect the quarterback to be there. Now we have him and take him. You're not starting him over Russell Wilson, which then means you just signed 2 veteran quarterbacks that aren't going to play, and DeVito's already on the roster to let your rookie play and see what happens. So it seems like a disaster on the outset. Let me ask you a question, Joe, number 2 overall, right? It's usually quarterbacks get overdrafted. I think Abdul Carter is the best overall player, which many would agree with in this draft where it is. But what should the Browns actually do at number 2? Just take the best player on the board, overreach if they don't think Sanders is the right guy? Because they don't have a quarterback either. Like, what are the Browns doing here?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Yes, you're right. He's a game changer. We saw what Philadelphia did with the defensive needs over the past few drafts, right? Drafting all Georgia dominant talent. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, Abdul Carter would be the pick. And then you're going to, pair him with Myles Garrett, and you're still hoping on Kenny Pickett to be that franchise guy. If I was Cleveland right now, I would take a swing on Shedeur Sanders. I mean, why not? Take a shot with Shedeur Sanders, see if he could change the organization, make him start from day number one, get the growing pains out, and maybe have a Jaden Daniels type of season. I mean, that would be the best option for the Cleveland Browns. Hoping that Deshaun Watson's going to come back in a couple of years and help you is not the answer. Kenny Pickett is a backup. He can perform when counted on in small sample sizes, but he's not the answer to save the organization. Why not take Shedeur Sanders and see if you could catch lightning in a bottle? Yeah, drafting Abdul Carter is basically like a layup need. It's great. You solidify the defense, but it's not bringing you any closer to challenge those teams in the division that have elite quarterback play like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow.
By the way, answer me this too, because as I see Albert Breer tweets out today, the Titans are working Miami quarterback Cam Ward out privately on campus today per sources. You had meetings with him. He had his pro day. He's going to be in shorts again. Are they saying, like, I just need you to throw that 7-yard slant one more time just to make sure we think you can play football at this point in T-shirts and shorts and with no defense out there? I love the NFL, but sometimes they just overcomplicate it. You knew exactly last year who the best quarterback was all season long. You need another private workout to figure if that's your guy. What are we doing, Tennessee, instead of using the company jet for useless miles? We'll be right back with Joe Lisi.